All right. Here we go, folks. We're going to give this another go. Apologies for the interruption to the program, folks. We are on lap one. We've just missed the start and we're trying to get ourselves sorted. Things seem to have settled down. Broadcast picture's probably a little bit less crisp than we're used to, but we're going to soldier on. Now, let's see where we're at, folks. Lap one, we have up the front at the moment, we've got Fahim Antonides returning for another run at the title, so to speak. And we hope to see a lot more of him this season as he is already showing what he's made of and is out to an early lead here tonight, Tim.
Yeah, Alex, he started off quite well. We had a few little issues with the pack just at the start of the race, but everything seems fine. And for him, he didn't do too well in the last race, but he's holding on this race. He's just got that early lead in front of Ben Furhoff and Ignacio, followed by Håkon and John Scholz, rounding out your top five, Alex.
Yeah, absolutely. Russell Clark in P6 for Team Milo, and a few of the regulars, as you say, intermixed with some new hopefuls tonight. And hopefully, we'll have a bit more of a smooth run as we continue on into the night, into the race at least. And crossing our fingers, we have no more technical dramas as well. Thanks everyone who's managed to find us here at the new link, and we'll keep plugging away as best we can. Continue on with slightly less performance than we're used to, and hopefully the season break will not come back to bite us too hardly from here on out. But up the front we have Fame Antonides. Just behind him is Ben Furhoff leading the local charge. He's actually sitting about, what's he, about 1.6 seconds behind, which after sort of a lap and a half, closing on the tail end of 2 laps out of 15 here is quite a good break. 1.7 seconds now that Fahim's got ahead of Ben Furhoff, tightly chased by Ignacio behind him from Club Iberia, who's actually, no, I'm just misreading there. I've got my statistics wrong. Ignacio's actually 1.4 seconds behind. He's got Håkon Grebstad, regular of Monday Night Lights, chasing him right behind there, right on his tailpipe as they start lap 3, Tim.
Yeah, Alex, I'm just on board with Håkon now, and he's right with Ignacio now. He's going to push him all the way here. Really just show him. I can't believe he's so close, but he's going to put that pressure on. But that's just really going to start helping out people behind him like Russell Clark and Matthew Thomas, as this little battle pack will form. And unless those two work together, they will bring the rest of the pack in. And with that, yeah, now 1.91 seconds to Ben Furhoff for him. He's starting to open that gap a little bit, and that's not really going to do well for the Australian charge there if they're trying to attack for him tonight, Alex.
No, that's right. For him, really putting on a good show and potentially more of this to come throughout the season with his Team Ivano teammate. It's for him having a few internet problems there by the looks. His Team Ivano teammate Enzo Cantor not making the run down under this evening and leaving for him to fight it out all on his own. But further down in the pack, we've got Matthew Thomas returning to Monday Night Lights. He was a regular there for a little while, had a bit of a break. Looks like he's coming back again tonight. Maybe it's the free track that's brought him, like so many others, out. Russell Clark just in front of him, leading Team Milo driver, with Jared Irvine, the first of the Team Venom races here tonight in P7. Jose Miguel Fernandez Andreu. There you go. There's a mouthful for you. He's from Iberia, of course, and he's in P8, followed by the next of the Team Venom races there in Simon Dopp, who's now, after doing so well from the second split, really forced his way in to become a regular in the top split. Just behind him, one of the FNRC regulars, Steve Purden. He turned up tonight. He's in P10 at the moment, and car number 16 just scraped into this 16 car field, but certainly looking to make the most of it with another, can you believe it, another FNRC regular tucked in behind him in Gary Gaza Cousins. Right in behind Gary is Colin Suti, who's a long time MNL favourite, but has been not seen in the series for quite some time. Great to see the free track in week 1 bringing Colin back out of the woodwork, so to speak. Claude Lassard in P14. He's from Canada. Great to see another Canadian here. John Scholz, who is down 10 positions and sporting a new Team Venom aerodynamic system by the looks, with sans the front cone. Looks like uh, John's been through a bit of action tonight. And Ben Snell, newly minted Team Milo livery in the final position tonight that's still out on track in P16. Doesn't look like Ben set a qualifying time because he hasn't gained or lost any, and maybe he in fact started in the pits. I'm not too sure, Tim.
Yeah, unsure about Ben. It didn't look like he was always at the back there, but no, that's look. I know Ben really doesn't like to play in the traffic too much, especially with the M&L. He hasn't had much luck. It's either hit or miss for him, unfortunately. But obviously, he's tried to start from the back of the pack tonight and just not gaining any positions. But as we look further ahead, looks like Hokon's finally made that move on Ignacio, and now Hokon's looking for that second position of Ben Furhoff, and look, Hocon in that open track, he really, really drives quite well. Lead, I think he'll gain on. Looks like Ben Furhoff on these next couple of laps, but yeah, I was talking to Hocon earlier tonight. He didn't like the setup of the Skip Barber, that they've slightly changed the dynamics of the car. Didn't quite suit his driving style. He said he wasn't that fast at Laguna Seca, but I think we can see that he is quite fast here tonight, Alex.
Yeah, well, a few of the guys, the buzz around town at the moment is around the changes to the setup, which were, let's shall we say, undocumented features in the release notes for this season. A few of the guys, well, liking, a few of the guys loathing, as it were, depending on your driving style. The rear of the car being the talk of the town in so much as it's changed the dynamic of how the car rotates. A lot of guys playing with brake bias and spring perch offset, just trying to get the car balanced to how they feel. And feel that they like to drive with. And of course, it is the same for everyone at the end of the day, and a bit of a challenge as we work our way through the season. But as we work our way through this race, as you say, Håkon Grebstad now seems to have almost broken that draft from Ignacio how do I say that? Pineno? Sorry, Ignacio, in P4 there. They're down to about 0.9 of a second. Of course, the magic 1 to 1.1 second gap is what they're chasing here tonight. Fantastic to see Team Milo's premier driver these days in the Monday Night Lights. The guy who shows up each week at least is Russell Clark there. Car number 7, sitting in P5, looking for a good haul of points here in this really strong field here tonight, and making heavy inroads into Ignacio as Hawkon looks to pull away and see if he can't catch Ben Furhoff in P2, Tim.
Yeah, it's good to see Russell Clark. Oh, we've just lost Hocon. He lost it a little bit on the sand. He's gathered it back, but he was lucky there not to take out the wall, Alex. It was a really exciting spill there, and look, he should get back into that, but he was just pushing that little bit too much on that corner and just hit the gravel.
Yeah, we're just on replay now, on board with Hawkon as he races up the hill into this tight turn 6, if I'm not mistaken. And look, he's cut it really fine. He's just got a bit loose through there, carried too much speed out onto the gravel, kept the boot into it, and the rears just stepped out on him. Very easy to do there. If you carry just the right amount of speed, that can really set you up, but the wrong amount. And of course, your night's really not looking real good from there. And Hawkon, after really setting a hot pace, has come back on the track in P5 by the looks, and really looking to do a recovery drive from there, Tim, as he sports a bit of damage as well.
Yeah, exactly right. Now with Matthew Thomas on his tail and that damage, I think he's going to be in for a bit of a battle now. The wounds there are going to slow him down a little bit, but Hocon's a great driver, and he'll drive well tonight, even with a bit of damage, and that won't slow him down too much. But I know Matthew Thomas will be really playing and really pushing hard to make sure he can get that move on Hocon done tonight. And as we go a bit further up, Russell Clark now really starting to put the pressure on Ignacio. And I know Russell, he'd be really just driving hard. He'd be looking for a good finish tonight in the Team Milo. He did say that we're not allowed to pick on his faults of driving tonight, but it seems he's driving quite well as they head into the corkscrew, Alex.
Yeah, not much to pick on tonight, as you say, as we go through that challenging 7, 8 and 8A section, also known as the corkscrew. fantastic signature area of this track, of course, as the guys come down the hill on the tail end of lap 7 now. Håkon Grebstad now, as you say, in a tight battle with Matthew Thomas. Håkon sporting that bit of, well, it looks to be self-repairing rear spoiler damage, because now you see me, now you don't. The bend in his rear wing appears to have gone now, folks, and the iRacing droids have been at it again. They've repaired him on the fly, and he's back in the thick of it, and potentially just now mind games as to whether or not he feels his car's stable or not. Interesting, interesting outcome there. Jumping a bit further back in the field, chasing a bit of action. We've got 3 cars locked in a battle now with James Mead, and going around the outside now of Jose Miguel, trying to get it done with, and tucked in behind them with a grin from ear to ear is Purdo, Mr. Steve Purden here in P11. He's just trying to get it done, folks. Trying to get on the back of these guys and get amongst it now, having shed his FNRC counterpart in Gary Cousins, and leaving him behind as he chases action a bit further up the field and tries to crack it for a top 10 finish, Tim.
Yeah, exactly right. And it's a good effort there by Steve Purden. He's really putting on the pressure, and I think he's just waiting for that mistake to happen in front of him. I think he's just waiting to see what James and Jose are going to do, and then I think that he'll make that move when he needs to as they come up towards the corkscrew. And it's going to be interesting if there's any moves going to be made by James as they head into the corkscrew. No, just keeping it nice and balanced there as he tries to get up behind there of Jose, but just not going to be able to make the move until they get in the straight. But he's pushing very hard, and I think Steve Purden's really good. I think he's just waiting for an accident, and I think that just might happen as this battle pack keeps going, Alex.
Yeah, well, James now looking to go around the outside of the final corner now. Turns in, keeps Jose Miguel on a tight line there, and potentially sets himself up for the run down the hill now into turn 1. So we right on board now. Take a look on the left, Alex. That might be a better picture. Going to try and get it done around the outside. See if we can't get it. Oh, I'm looking for a tight shot. Oh, there's contact. Oh, and Purdo's copped it as well. There's James Mead's been spun around there, and he's hit the exit stage left button. Let's see if we can't get a good look at that in replays. We saw James Mead coming down around the outside of Jose Miguel there, and just the two of them come together in what is often the case there, and then Mead has taken poor old Purdo out there, and he won't be getting a Christmas card for that one, I'm sure, Tim.
No, and the writing was on the wall with that battle, and I could see something was going to happen, and he just pushed his luck a little bit too much, and unfortunate for Purdo, who was caught up in that accident. And it's a real shame there. You don't expect that as the driver. You've taken the inside line, that car coming back, there's no way to avoid it, and unfortunately he's been caught out. But he'll still keep going. It looks like there's not too much damage to the car. But it looks now, if I move further up, Alex, it looks like Matthew Thomas has finally made that move on Håkon. So although the magic droids have fixed Håkon's car, I still think he's suffering with a little bit of damage there.
Yeah, potentially. The risk you run with that rear wing damage is it can hide, at least to the viewers at home. Certainly not Håkon in the cockpit, a bit of rear suspension damage as well. But having said that, Matthew Thomas, as those who've stuck with us for multiple seasons will know, is no slouch in these cars. Very quick. I've seen him put it to the likes of Enzo Cantor here on any given night. So great battle ensuing there as Håkon's really found some pace in recent weeks, and looking to take advantage after making an uncharacteristic mistake, it has to be said. And now, all the while, Ignacio Pineno and Russell Clark, Team Milo driver, as we said, he's put all over the back. And I think if we lost Matthew Thomas there, we might go grab a quick look at that, see what happened between him and Håkon Grebstad. Oh, it's just Matthew Thomas. He's lost it all on his own. Let's jump back a little bit further, see if we can't catch it there. On the approach to turn 5 here, looks like Matthew, the rear of his cars started to step out, and then Håkon's really had nowhere to go and just clipped him for good measure on the way through. Really nowhere to go for Håkon there. And Matthew Thomas, after putting on such a great performance to this point, Looks like he's plumb out of luck. But Hawk on Grebstead now. Shimmy hasn't got too much damage. The front wing looking a little bit worse for wear after that, but that shouldn't affect him too much. Hopefully not carrying any damage from that earlier incident. He's now within 1.2 seconds of rampaging Russell Clark and Ignacio Pineno as they battle out for the final spot on the podium.
Yeah, well, geez, another battle there that's ended in a bit of damage, and it's a bit of a shame there for Matthew Thomas because I thought he was driving quite well, but just that little bit of pressure by Hocon sitting right on the tail really starts to make you look in your mirrors, and you put more focus on the mirrors than you do on your own racing style, and you end up outbraking yourself sometimes. But that battle pack ahead with Russell Clark and Ignacio, and it's good to see that Russell's really putting the pressure on. There's been a couple of corners where he's looked close enough to make a move, but he just hasn't been able to get it done. And I'm hopefully as they head up towards the corkscrew here that he might be able to get a good run out and really put the pressure on. But it looks like Ignacio is really going to hold him into the corkscrew here, Alex.
Yeah, tough section to get it done. You've got it's a really risk reward type situation there at the corkscrew, Tim. You want to put pressure all over it, but at the same time, you can get the pass done on the inside of the first left-hander, but there's a lot of risk in doing so. There's better places to attack, but when you're left with just the balance of 5 laps now, about 4.1 for the leader, Fahim, as he goes to cross the line now, you've got limited opportunities, and yeah, perhaps he'll need to make the most of it when it does present. Hawk on Grebstead now still the 1.2 seconds, 1.1 seconds, almost getting a sniff of the draft as he tries to get on the back of these two. And really, Russell and Ignacio running like the rabbits ahead of the fox behind them. So interesting to see what... is now Russell looking to go around the outside at turn 2, the Andretti hairpin there. Really costing himself, it has to be said. He's now 8 tenths behind and about to be swallowed up by the hard-charging Hawk on Grebstead. Who's tucked in on the back now and really looking to make amends from the earlier mistake there, Tim.
Yeah, it's one of those moves that I think Russell will go back and look at the replay and actually wish that he didn't quite make that move. He was just better off staying with Ignacio and really putting that pressure on. Trying to force the move on the outside and not get it done is, as you've said, it's brought Hocon back into the game and really is now Hocon, as we know, can really put the pressure on and as long as he can hang on to it, it looks like he was in the dirt again, but no, it looks like he's safe as we head up to the corkscrew on this lap 12, and Hocon really is just going to put that pressure on to Russell and Ignacio there, and hopefully we can end up with this battle pack heading towards the end. It would be an exciting finish as Hocon really putting that pressure on Alex.
Yeah, very unlike Team Milo to lend Team Ovaltine a helping hand to get back into it, but that's what we've got, folks. The green Team Milo car leading the orange and yellow Team Ovaltine car, and Ignacio Pineno, he's not sure what he's got into here tonight, and as the three of them go line astern across the line now on the tail end of lap 12, crossing to lap 13. Russell's going to have another crack at it here, leaving the door open for Hawkon to go deeply braking around the inside and forcing his way past Russell, who really... He had a second bite at it, fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice, shame on me. He's let Hawkon straight through there, and now he's all over putting the pressure on the back of Ignacio Pineno, which kind of resuming station from earlier in the race, Tim.
Oh, and here was me saying that Russell will go back and look at the replay. Well, he's going to have to look at 2 laps now. And he really should have just closed the door on Hocon there and not let him through, because now Hocon is going to make that charge. Oh, and as they come up to turn 6, Hocon just pulls back in behind Ignacio. Showed him a bit of the nose there just to put that pressure on. And as they head up to turn 7 and 8, which is now the corkscrew, interesting that Hocon's just going to take the tight lines in and through the corkscrew. And as he comes down into turn 9 into Rainy Curve, he's really just going to put that pressure on the tail of Ignacio and really show him that he's there. And I think this might just cause a bit of an issue with Ignacio, Alex.
Yeah, potentially. But I tell you what, I've been jumping up to the front, and what we've got up the front is a battle if you can believe it, after running away with the thing for most of it. Fahim Antonides has come back to Ben Furhoff here as they run down the straight into turn one, turn two, the Andretti hairpin now for the penultimate time. We have a race on our hands, folks, with Ben Furhoff all over the back of Fahim Antonides. We know what sort of pace Ben's got. We know that Fahim's one of the best in the world, certainly the best we see down here on a Monday Night Lights on many occasion. And Furhoff putting pressure all over Fahim tonight. It'll be interesting to see how this one shapes up. Didn't think we'd end up with a battle for the lead here, Tim, with just the 1.5 laps to go as they go through turn 5 now. Riding on board with Furhoff is all over the back of Fahim here as they come up to turn 6 now. This tough left-hander. You don't want to hit that curb on the inside. You can really do yourself a damage and bring yourself unstuck as we ride on board with these guys now. They're really putting on a show. Side by side through the corkscrew. Fahim looking to take a defensive line through the first part. Oh, there's been contact. Fahim's been pushed out to the the left-hand side and looks to be carrying a fair amount of damage as well as some internet issues. Oh, and he's spun out again behind. Let's go back and see if we can't have a look at that, folks. I'll have to jump back a fair bit, I think, to get that. As they ran up the hill, and I said it's risk-reward as we go up here again, riding on board with Fahim at the moment. Almost some contact there through the sweeping left-hander, and then on the approach here to the corkscrew, too wide. Fahim taking the defensive line there, and Ben coming up the driver's right of the approach to the corkscrew. Fahim really heavy on the brakes there. Left enough room. Oh, he just looks like he might have, if anything, drifted over a bit towards Ben Furhoff, but then got caught out by the netcode monster once again, which of course is every iRacer's nightmare, and does of course leave Ben Furhoff now leading this race with just about half a lap to go. We might jump back to that battle. Håkon Grebstad now, he has cleared Ignacio Pineno. He's back into P2 with Ignacio sitting in P3 and Russell Clark now. He's in P4 and 1.6 seconds behind with Jared Irvine. We've gone from an Oval Team Milo battle to a Team Venom Team Milo battle for the P4 and 5 in this race as we head around this final part of the lap, and the positions aren't quite settled yet. But jumping up to the front, we have Ben Furhoff, who looks to be running away with this one, Tim.
Yeah, really good race in the end. And Ben Furhoff, he's going to come around he's gone wide and he's driving wildly as he comes into the last corner and he comes onto the straight to take the win there, Alex. And that's a really good effort by Ben Furhoff. Good to see that he stuck with it and didn't give up in that second position when Fahim had taken off, Alex.
That's right. As we see now, the rest of the field coming across. Håkon Grebstad grabbing a very hard-fought P2 with Ignacio Pineno in P3. Russell Clark and Jared Irvine side by side, rounding out your top 5, and plenty of engines sounding like they're going in celebration or commiseration, depending on how you finish tonight, Tim, as the stragglers still continue. Poor old Purdo, caught up in someone else's accident all the way down to P11, grabbing what I think it might be one of, if not his first, certainly one of few Monday Night Lights points. John Scholes finishing just behind him. Not sure what happened to Colin Sudi tonight. I know he's got a ton of pace, just not on it tonight. And Ben Snell, he's up one position from P16 to P15, but certainly not a night for him to remember. Not sure what happened. Maybe he had a phone call. Oh, as we get that drifting special. He's always good for a bit of a drift at the end of the race, is young Ben Snell. So not the showing he would have hoped for in his first night out for his new team, Tim. Is once again the rear tyres getting a bit of a workout from Mr. Snell. Now, while the guys sort themselves out, why don't we take a look at the results here for round 1? Quite an eventful round on and off the track if you're in my seat with the technical elements. But let's have a look. Of course, round 1 here for season 14 of Monday Night Lights, live from well, what has been renamed, it's no longer Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca. Let's just call it Laguna Seca for now. iRacing need to fix that up. P1 tonight, Ben Furhoff, who we missed how he got back in touch. I don't know if Fahim had an incident that brought Ben back in touch, but he certainly took full advantage with that incident towards the end there. Certainly one that'll be spoken of more, no doubt. Håkon Grebstad, what an eventful race for him, but managed to hold on for P2 in the end. Ignacio Pineno, I hope I'm pronouncing that something like correctly. He's finished in P3. Fantastic drive from Ignacio on his debut in the Monday Night Lights. P4. Congratulations to Team Milo's very own Russell Clark. Fantastic drive for him. Would have been a while since he's been that far up the order, if I'm not mistaken. Congratulations, Russell. Well done. Jared Irvine, the first of the Team Venom drivers in P5. Congratulations to him. P6, Simon Dopp, second Team Venom baser. Well done, Simon. P7, Jose Miguel Fernandez Andreu from Iberia in what I think is his first outing Monday Night Lights. I think I'd remember that name. P8, Matthew Thomas, another one with an eventful race down in P8 there. Fahim Antonides hanging on for P9 after what would have been a challenging last couple of laps after that incident with Ben Verhoff through the corkscrew. Gary Cousins finishing the night in P10 after getting caught up in someone else's incident, as we said. Oh, no, it wasn't. That was Perdo. Bad luck to Gary, who seemed to get dropped at one point, but still managed a top 10 finish. Speaking of the unlucky Steve Purden, he's finished in P11, still in the points tonight. Great to see him in the top split. P12, John Scholz, who down 7 positions, who, while we were having our technical difficulties, looked like he had a bit of some challenges and was unable to recover beyond P12, but still in the points. Colin Sudi, a welcome return, but just outside the points tonight in P13. P14, Claude Lessard from Canada. Hopefully we'll see more of Claude here in the top split, and he'll get some better results in the coming weeks. Ben Snell, first night out for Team Milo and not in the points, and certainly a challenge to his hope of taking out the Monday Night Lights Championship for this season. James Mead in P16, another ANZ local, down 14 positions. I was expecting great things from James, and I'm not sure if while we're having our technical difficulties he had an incident, but I suggest perhaps maybe he and Scolty came together. We'll never know. The mystery will not be solved here tonight, folks. In P17, okay, your guess is as good as mine. Is that Mitya Stitkovsky? Anyway, he didn't get a
That's
lap
very
in.
well done,
Thanks,
Alex.
mate. He didn't get a lap in anyway, so he looks like he's retired at some point, as did James. 15 laps down. He probably barely worth a mention at that point, I think, anyway. So there you go, Tim. That was a fair stack of results out there tonight. Look, it was up and down, in the booth and out. What do you make of the first night out?
Yeah, we've had a bit of everything there, Alex, tonight. But look, overall, it was a great race. It was eventful, a lot of battle packs, and really shows with those drivers trying to push too hard doesn't always pay off going on the outside, really late braking. But tonight, it caused a few accidents. But all in all, really good night. Great opener to the season.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. There was certainly action aplenty cracking off. As we said, we've got a couple of guys waiting for a chat. Let's start in finishing order as we always do with Mr. Grebstad.
Usually.
Hawken
Hey.
Grebstad, welcome to the top split. Jeepers, I'm going everywhere tonight. The top split commentary booth, mate. We had action aplenty everywhere, mate. Same as you. I was saying on track and off tonight. Tell me a couple of moments for yourself and plenty of action, but a great result in the end.
Yeah. Back and forth. I don't know if you caught my lap 6 moment up that hill to the corkscrew. That was crazy.
Yeah, mate, we sure did. Looked like we lost the rear of the car there, and it was a challenging night from there. But certainly looked like you had a bit of fun on the way back, shall we say?
Yeah, it was a good fun race. Sorry to Matthew for the touch. Probably should have been able to avoid him there. He was getting loose through turn 6 or 7 or whatever it is.
Yeah, he was. He looked like he'd let the rear go all of his own, and I'd have to say he didn't really have much choice. He didn't have many places to go. He fairly committed at that point in the corner, but I was looking forward to that battle between you and Matthew, but it wasn't to be. But for yourself, mate, good result in week one, and hopefully that's a sign for of things to come throughout the season, eh?
Yeah, hopefully. That was a good race and yeah, good finish.
Yeah, excellent. All right, mate. Anyone like to give a shout out to before we let you go tonight?
Well, the broadcasters and the drivers,
You,
like always.
thanks, mate. You say that now, but wait till you see what went on tonight. All right, mate. Thanks, and we look forward to seeing you next week.
Yeah, see you, Alex. See you, Tim.
Catch you later.
There you go. Well, our next commentary visitor or broadcast booth visitor is Mr. Ben Snell. Ben, opening outing for the season with Team Milo, and I don't think that quite went to plan. Tell us what happened, mate.
What a debut, eh? Oh man, I don't think green's my color, is it?
I've just got some pictures of you. I didn't realise you'd had an incident in the opening lap. I can see you crabbing along on the approach to turn 5, mate. Run us through what happened.
I 1x both my laps because I'm really good through turn 6, and I'm so fast that iRacing gives me a shiny green point every time I go through there. So I started from the back, got a decent start, got a couple of guys into turn 1, and then Mr. Mitz, or however you want to pronounce that, decided that he didn't want to brake. So I was his braking marker.
Oh, that's a shame. Sporting a new livery and a nice new helmet that says "Go and Go and Go" on it, and yeah, as we said in the broadcast, mate, not the start of the season, but plenty more races ahead. The new team livery will no doubt get a Guernsey going forward. And look, there's drop rounds in play. Week 1, I'm sure your tilt at this season's title is not in jeopardy as yet. And plenty of good things ahead, eh?
Oh, for sure. And the positive is I can only get better throughout the season.
Well, that's absolutely right, mate. Look, before we let you go tonight, mate, anyone you'd like to give a shout out to, perhaps the guy who painted your car, looking so spectacular tonight in the bright green.
Yeah. Cheers to Russell for inviting me to the team and looking after me with all this Milo I've got sitting around me now, which is quite nice. And I'd also like to send a shout out to your internet provider.
Yeah, he's done a fantastic job tonight, the old ISP, hasn't he? And yeah, nothing like a bit of the sponsor's product to keep you going through the night, or going and going and going, shall we say? But no, thanks, mate, and hopefully we look forward to some bigger and better results for you in the coming weeks.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Well, there you go, Tim. That is pretty much the closing of what has been quite an eventful night this evening. One that I will seek to rectify the whatever the hell's going on with the internet tonight for me, and look for bigger things next week. Although I tell you what, if we had a race like that with that sort of action each week, I wouldn't be complaining.
No, not at all, Alex. And next week we're at the Twin Ring Matagi East. So this could be a very eventful race. Really looking forward to that one. And so, yeah, great opener to the season, and really looking forward to some spectacular races this season, Alex.
Yeah, you and me both, mate. And looking forward to plenty of on-track action. Great to see a lot of the regulars. Oh, geez, there's some good action there that we kind of missed because of our delayed or false start in the broadcast. And I tell you what, there might be a nasty gram going to the ISP tonight. We'll wait and see, depending on what it is. But yeah, look, great to see some of our regulars coming back. A couple of new faces as well, but the majority of it is people that we know and love from the community. So, and that's what this is all about, folks. This is by the community, for the community, and hopefully bigger and better things to come as we continue throughout season 14. Who would have thought we got this far, eh? Season 14. But folks, while we're sort of a little bit ahead, we might call it a night. Thank you everyone for joining us in chat. Great to see some familiar faces there as well. And on behalf of the Golden Stick, Mr. Tim Awima, I've been your host, Alex McKellar, and my goodness, we look forward to seeing you for a better broadcast next week. And until then, I will say ciao for now.